are listening to the Space-Tastic Mysteries podcast. We are in week 9 of Anna Gale Line's latest novel, The Lightyears, involving a Mobile Alliance surgical hospital battling an epidemic at the front lines of the Freedom Alliance Crimson Fleet War. This is Episode 9, The Emergency Meeting. If you have not subscribed, do so now, and if you are on YouTube, hit the bell to be notified of new episodes.
I ate a few bites before I answered, staring at the food. You know how there are snipers in war? When he nodded, I continued. They were killing people, making me watch, and they held me back from helping them. I could have at least saved some of them. He put down his burger and lifted my chin. That's horrible, especially to a doctor. He grabbed my hand and squeezed it. Thank you for confiding in me. That's only part of what happened. They wanted me to create diseases that would take out populations. Diseases that looked like normal ones, so no one would suspect. Did you? I picked at my ziti while holding his gaze. Create this one? No, this one was sloppy. It is supposed to blend in. This one has hallmark signs that it was humanly engineered. I ate a piece, then sipped my soda before I continued. When Josh contracted it, I worked hard to try and save him. I brought in every expert I knew, and still couldn't save him. Jake picked up his burger and took another bite of it. But you are saving people's lives by that therapy you discovered. I nodded, then whispered, but it will not be enough. It will never be enough to atone for all those lives that I was forced to let die. That is not your fault. That is the people who held you captive's fault. Those deaths are on their hands. I pushed my half-eaten ziti away and insisted, I watched them die. I should have done something. I should have somehow outsmarted those doctors who drugged me. I still see them in my dreams, coming after me with that syringe. I stared past him. I want to get over it. I want to be the mother my children deserve. I want to be the person you deserve to be in a relationship with. My therapist believes I will be again, but I cannot ever see that happening. Are you okay? Jake questioned, eyeing me. Then he finished his burger. You just confided in me. Things that you said you were never going to talk about. We are up against a lot of the same elements. I just want you to know that I might have issues with this case. As my partner, you should know that. I appreciate that. I cannot make what happened to you go away, but I can help you now because you are asking for assistance. Thank you. I wasn't thrilled when you were assigned as my partner, but I am glad now. I feel like you are the right person to partner with me on this. You are the person I would like to learn to trust again the most. I think that is the closest I am going to get to a compliment. Probably. Hey, do you want to come over for dinner? It is game night. We play these things called board games, really old ones from the 20th and 21st century. I had them 3D printed. I caught sight of Graham coming through the crowd, searching the court for someone. When he met my eyes and moved toward our table, I lowered the privacy wall. Jake raised his eyebrows. Why are you doing that? I pointed to Graham and warned, be nice. Who? Me? I nodded and insisted, yes, you. When Graham reached us, he turned a chair around and straddled it. Your Clue Club called an emergency meeting in an hour. Can they do that? Jake questioned, looking from me to Graham and back again. I thought we were leading this. I countered, holding his gaze. They are all commanders that respect chain of command and wouldn't violate it unless the information was extremely important or urgent. I guess you are right. You know these people better than I do. I could hear irritation in his voice. I understand you would rather this just be you and me alone on this case, but that is not what happened. If you like me in the slightest, you are going to play nice with all these other people because there is something I have yet to tell either of you. Which is? They asked in unison. I know this Henrik guy is right because I have a date to return to. It is around Peter and Henrik's. A return date, Graham required. A date that we must return to the island, or risk execution. It is clear they are serious too because we believe Adam and Josh were killed because they did not return by their return date. I showed Graham the conversation I had with Henrik. Jake looked at me. You are in danger of being killed? You didn't think to say anything? If you want me to tell you anything, I said, gesturing my finger up and down, that attitude right there has to disappear. I need to feel safe. But you are safe, she didn't say. Graham interjected, looking at me. She needs to know that she is safe. She said she needs to feel safe. My guess is that the accusatory tone you used with her does not qualify. Jake returned, turning to stare at him. I am guessing that you don't realize I don't like you, of all people, messing in my relationship with her. You two are too close for my tastes, and frankly, I am not convinced that your marriage is all that happy if you are meddling in other people's relationships. Jake, I said in a low tone, I understand that you are afraid for my life, and you are uncomfortable that Graham and I have been close friends since high school. I get all that, but he is still your superior officer, and you need to address him as such. Even if you have issue with him personally, respect is always given to a person who outranks you. I watched Jake roll his eyes. I wagged my thumb at him. Do not test me. I will not accept disrespect of a superior officer. I activated the terminal in the middle of the table and pulled all the participants up, so they appeared in boxes on the screen. After exchanging pleasantries, I started. Let's start with Peter Cassidy. From the DNA results, he appears to be my biological brother, and I have his section chief on board. Dax, we said in unison except Graham and Jake. How did that happen? I know that Dax and you have a special connection, Jessa questioned, catching my eye. He was coming here to see me about something medical, I answered, moving my eyes over to the group. Each in turn, he and his family were in one of the bombings. We did surgery and patched them up. Which makes me wonder who the intended target was, Zebby wondered, meeting my eyes. Me too, Jake confirmed. The bombings were oddly specific. It only targeted 3 rooms out of a 40-level building. I prompted, what have you guys heard about him? Is he on the up and up? Is he not? From all the people I have talked to, Tony responded, waiting for me to meet his gaze. When I did, he continued, he was raised in captivity with your parents, along with your sister Brianna and Adam. He smoothed the arms of his long-sleeved, light blue, button-down shirt. You were abducted, and your parents went looking for you, and that is when they were captured, he persisted, moving his hand over the torso of his shirt. But there is some speculation that you were taken, so they would be in a position to be captured. Nate agreed, running his fingers through his dark hair. That is what I heard too. But I heard that they are trying to solve a disease, the same one that has become an epidemic on the front lines. They brought the most brilliant minds in to solve it, and when they didn't solve it in a year, they were killed. 6 months, I corrected, locking eyes with Nate. Some, usually the ones who grew up in captivity like Peter, Adam and Josh, were released with a return date. From all indications, if you do not return by that date, they kill you, and Peter and I have 6 months before we have to return. From what I have heard from my contacts, Jessa interjected, there are rumors that they killed Josh. Anyone else would have been killed outright, but because Josh was the son of one of the high-ranking island committee members, he was given a choice to return with you and your children, or risk the consequences. He chose the consequences to keep you and the kids out of captivity. I twisted my mouth, then speculated. I wonder if we found the cure in 6 months if they would release my parents and those who are in captivity. I have the protocol for this disease. Jake replied, Danny, these people are not going to play fair. Have they thus far? They tried to burn you alive in your lab while in their captivity. Alex stressed, Danny, your anxiety level is rising. Then I saw her go into what appeared to be a trance. Her face contorted grotesquely. Then when she regained her composure, she exclaimed, Oh Danny! How are you functioning? If I had to endure what you did in captivity, I don't know if I would be able to do all you do. I read your memories. I really don't have any control over it yet. I am sorry. I nodded. It's okay. I know you don't mean any evil intent by it. I know you won't use it against me. I can't make it better for you. I wish I could. All you saw, all you were forced to do, and what was done to you. It was absolutely horrific. She sighed for a moment. However, one of the previous administrations, one that shall remain nameless, thought that since his popularity was dropping, that if he put together a think tank that would solve everyone's problems, that the public would have to love him. But as with most things in his administration, the idea was put in place, but nothing happened with it while he was in office. One by one, all of the members of the think tank have been killed, captured, or have been previously captured. I am sending you a list of the members of the think tank. I heard my Quan pad chime, then looked at her information. And Drew would like to team up with you on finding a cure to this disease, if you'd like. This is right up his alley, and he is a medical consultant for the IIB. And he did find the cure to Latcham disorder, I remarked. I looked from Alex to Jake and back again. I am not guaranteeing anything, but I will let him see my research. Maybe he can give me feedback. And we think we have determined that the voice messages are not being sent from the island, Jake mentioned, catching my raised eyebrows. I was going to tell you, but we didn't get to the case. It appeared to be coming from Kilo 8. That is where the disease is said to originate, right? I was thinking that you or I could take a trip to Kilo 8 to look around. I retorted. Who is taking care of our 14-year-old and the rest of the children in my care? Zariah is not old enough to handle her siblings and cousins on her own. It is close enough that you and I could take a day trip there and be back by dinner, Jake persisted. I guess, but I am concerned about having the commander and the chief surgeon away in the initial stages of this MASH unit's operation. Graham objected. You handpicked this crew yourself. You would be leaving this MASH in capable hands for only a few hours. I'd be leaving it in Patrick's hands. He is an excellent doctor, but he is a know-it-all. I have already had to bring him down a peg or two. Graham smiled. He is cocky like you were before. Before, Jake retorted, eyeing me. She still acts like she is the best Freedom Alliance surgeon. He blew on his fingers and rubbed them on his shirt. We all know it is me. I rolled my eyes and advised, in your dreams. I have been the best Freedom Alliance surgeon for years. That is why I was chosen to head this MASH unit. Jake insisted, moving his eyes between me and Graham several times. I suspected it had something to do with you being close friends with Graham. I put my hands on my hips and looked him up and down. It didn't have anything to do with my friendship with Graham. I am the best choice. I am a superior surgeon. I am an excellent commander. I glanced around the group and then locked my eyes with Jake's and decided, the perfect choice. And the fact that you are basically questioning my worth as a surgeon and a commander makes me wonder if you were the best choice for chief surgeon. Nate posed. Jake, have you lost your ever-loving mind? It is not smart to question your superior officer's ability to do any of her jobs. And from what I understand, Danny had always been the first choice to run the Lightyears. She is the best commander, surgeon in the Freedom Alliance. If you want to stay chief surgeon and get back with her, questioning her abilities is not the way to go. She knows I am joking, complained Jake. Tony studied me, twisting his mouth. He wrinkled his brow, then observed, I don't think she does because the look on her face right now says, I should have went with my first choice. I guarantee, you are in the doghouse. He tilted his head and asked me, who was your first choice? I answered, looking at Alex. My first choice. I didn't ask him because I knew he didn't want to leave his post and be separated from his wife and children. Something about being separated in another timeline and a time traveler having to go back and fix the timeline. Alex shook her head. I finally got him on the same post as me. We are not breaking up our happy family. She turned serious for a moment and wondered, studying me, do you know about the Quavtejda race that live on Kilo 8? I have a contact who thinks that the disease originated with them. They are a humanoid race that look like a cross among an eagle, a horse and a human being. There have been some intel reports about them. We have a team observing them from a hidden station on their planet, Graham advised us. They have remained hidden from us until now, and we would like to let them stay that way if that is the way they want to play this, but if they are the ones who created and spread this disease, that is going to be impossible to do. I know something about them, considering that some of the people on that island are Quavtejdan.
If you would like to learn more about Anagail or to purchase her fiction and nonfiction books, go to anagaillines.com. That is ANAGAILLYNES.com. Right now you can buy 3 ebooks and get the 4th one free. There you can sign up for the newsletter to keep up to date on what is happening in the world of the Anagail Lines podcast, where she inspires people to take control of their lives, and her science fiction podcast, the Space-Tastic Mysteries podcast. To follow her on social media, it is Anagail Lines on Twitter, Lady Anagail on TikTok, Anagail Lines Artist on Instagram, At the Anna Gale Lines podcast on YouTube, you can join the Facebook page at Author Anna Gale. Thank you for listening and thank you for being you.